Hi everyone, this is Sharon again. Today I am posting a video for tests and exams to diagnose your ovarian cancer. The reason I felt like this was so important is because it was one of the number one questions I've received from you all as to if you didn't know you had it, then how did you find out you had it? How was it discovered? How was it diagnosed? First of all, folks, it was discovered purely by accident because I was admitted into the hospital for pneumonia, first of all. So generally when someone is admitted into the hospital with breathing issues, as was mine, then they utilize a series of scans. For me, in my case, it was x-ray and I believe CAT scan. So in utilizing those on me is how they determined that, okay, she has some masses in her body. She has enlarged lymph nodes. She has lots of fluid around her lungs. That x-ray and that CAT scan is what ultimately saved my life. So I'm going to go over that because it seems to be a really preeminent question on everyone's mind out there. Also, before I begin, I want to really stress to you that it is important that, say for instance, you're displaying all the symptoms of ovarian cancer. It may be nothing, but who knows? So you want to direct this to your specialist. You need to consult with a specialist. And I really insist, if you can, that specialist is what we call a gynecologic oncologist. They're a gynecological expert who specializes in cancer of all of the gynecological issues. Okay? I really truly believe it is the reason that my life has been extended for the last 4.5 years, because my doctor was also and is a gynecologic oncologist / surgeon. She also operated on me, so she knew exactly what to look for when she went in. It makes more sense that the person operating on you for a particular type of cancer is a specialist in that field. You don't want someone operating on you who does not know what to look for. It's a no-brainer. So if you want to get past this hurdle, please make sure you speak with a gynecologic oncologist. It will literally save your life, or it will definitely extend it, as is mine. So I'm very fortunate to have landed on my oncologist's doorstep when I did. All right? Now, there are several imaging sources that are utilized when looking for particular types of issues or any issue in the body. It's really wonderful. The one that was used on me was, of course, the x-ray. The x-ray can just show where there's fluid and things of that nature. It just lets them know if something is happening that shouldn't. It's an excellent tool, one that we're all familiar with. The next one after x-ray we call magnetic resonance imaging scan, which is an MRI. I don't believe this particular scanner was used on me, but it utilizes magnets to echo radio waves of sorts, or magnetic waves rather, on into your body, and then they all come together in a computed type of imagery in which it is then discovered what's happening. There's something happening in your body. There are growths that don't belong there and that sort of thing. The one that was utilized on me, so you have your x-ray, you have your MRI. The magnetic resonance imaging is better known as the MRI. Okay. Number 3 is one called, it's called computed tomography, better known as CAT scan or CT scan. Now this one was utilized on me for the last 4.5 years of my life. It is the tool that my doctor utilized to make sure that whatever was happening in my body, she could tell through these scans. She could actually see, say for instance, I always had these 2 sets of lymph nodes that kept growing, and then they would shrink when the chemo was used. And after the chemo wore off, they would grow or enlarge again. She picked up all of that through a CT scan. She could see that. And so that is how she stayed on top of my cancer. I'm so glad that I had this particular image, a form of imagery available to me. because it did save my life, and I don't know how to say that enough, but it did. So you have the CT scan. It kind of goes around and around, and you take pictures sort of like x-rays, but then it puts them all together again. Computer does its thing, and oh yes, they inject dye into your veins so that you can have a contrast also sometimes. So they'll do it with a contrast dye, and then they'll take plain pictures without, so they can do the comparison, and then they can see what tumors are growing where, anywhere in your body practically, to a certain degree. Now, the next one they have is called a PET scan, and it is a form of a scan that utilizes kind of like a radioactive sugar that can pick up the cancer cells. It's really fascinating stuff here. I'm not quite clear on how it all worked, but it can really say whatever the CT scan can't pick up or doesn't pick up, well, the PET scan kind of picks up from there and goes even smaller. So I was panicked so much when she said, "Okay, Sharon, your CT scan is showing some activity. I want to figure out exactly what's going on." So she ordered the PET scan, and oh my gosh, I was terrified because I said, "Oh no, now I'm going to find out where the cancer is truly located. Oh gosh, it's going to be all in my body." I was so scared. I couldn't believe it, but it all worked out, as it always does if we take a proactive approach. That's how I have to look at these things. So anyway, the PET scan did show that my para-aortic lymph nodes, which are those same two stubborn lymph nodes where that cancer just loves to live in them, had something going on again. So this is when she decided, we're going to treat you with radiation, which was very new for me. So anyway, you have your x-ray, you have your MRI, you have the CT scan, and you have the PET scan. Now, the first line of defense, I want you to understand, this is another exam that can be utilized. It's just a plain old simple CBC, or a complete blood count. It gives the doctors and the specialists an idea of generally what's happening in your body, what's going on, what do you have too much of, what do you have too little of. It's a really good indicator. It's a prelude into what could possibly be happening in your body. It's just good to have a CBC. There are lots of other tests, folks, and they all depend on you, your body, if it needs to be utilized. Again, like I said, I'm discussing my experience to you in layman's terms in hopes that you will understand what you need to look for and how to express it to someone, to a specialist out there, because sometimes the scientific terms are a bit intimidating, and it's just enough to make a person just throw their hands up, God forbid, but it does. So I hope this is helping someone out there get a better understanding of what options you do have as far as exams. There are some. And then of course another exam could be your just taking biopsy of tissue samples, tissue sampling. If for all else something fails and still things are not discovered, tissue sampling is another way. They can go in, they can take a biopsy of the questionable tissue at hand, and depending on the result, you'll know as well what's happening. So there you have it. Those are some of the exams and tests that can be utilized to at least help determine what's going on with your body in the way of gynecological cancers and or ovarian cancers. I'm focusing on ovarian cancer because it is my experience, and not that I wanted to be one, but I seem to be becoming quite the expert of ovarian cancer. So anyway, I hope I've helped you all today. Remember to keep posting those questions and comments, and you can check me on my Facebook as well. I'm there too, and I'll be glad to answer you any questions you have. Don't be afraid, please. Fear is our worst enemy in fighting this disease, so I really want us to beat it. It's time to stop playing around, and it's time to take a proactive approach. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you again for checking in. I'll keep posting, and hopefully I'll keep supplying info. I'm just Sharon, and I'm happy to be. Thank you all. Love you. Bye-bye now.